Moscow's decision to launch Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine turned the federation into a pariah on the international arena. Amid diplomatic isolation and Western sanctions, the Kremlin had to look for new allies. The list of states willing to make contact with Putin is small. One of them is Iran.
Одним из главных союзников для Российской Федерации на сегодняшний день является Иран. Они уже подписали договор.
One of the main allies for the Russian Federation today is Iran. They have already signed a treaty on joint efforts to counter Western sanctions and the supply of Shahed drones and other weapons from Iran.
In addition to arms purchases, Moscow is adopting Tehran's methods of economic management. The structure of Iran's economy is similar to Russia's. Both are dependent on oil exports. Iran, however, has much more experience in circumventing Western sanctions. However, over the years, the country has not been able to move away from the raw material economic model. Outdated equipment does not allow it to develop technologies and create a full production cycle. Experts believe that the Russian economy will face a similar future, if not worse.
Модель поведения Путина действительно напоминает.
Putin's model of behavior really resembles the Iranian model, meaning that it's a bet on circumventing sanctions and a bet on raw materials and militarization. However, Putin has far more problems than Iran. Firstly, the war, which by my calculations diverts somewhere around 15% of Russia's GDP.
Iran has a number of advantages over Russia. Its population is on average 10 years younger than Russia's. This means that Tehran spends much less money on pensions and social payments. It is cheaper for Iran to maintain its security forces and army. Moscow has failed to build strong economic ties with the new partners. The course of import substitution has also failed. Dependence on Beijing had led to the monopolization of high-tech markets in the Russian Federation by Chinese companies.
Тоже импортозамещение, о котором говорил Путин, оно превратилось.
The same import substitution that Putin was talking about, it has turned actually into import from the Republic of China to get the necessary goods, which is also kind of not very good. In some spheres, the situation is catastrophic, as in air travel and many other areas of the economy which are high-tech.
Another problem for the country is growing inflation. The huge financial investments into the military-industrial complex are literally devaluing the salaries of those whose employment is not related to Russia's continued war against Ukraine. By raising the key rate, the central bank can only hold inflation for a short period of time.
На пресс-конференции
Putin admitted at the press conference that he has to resort to inflation. He has to print money in order to finance military and social spending, and in fact, next year he has only this tool left. Tools like selling off foreign reserves and national fund money were still massively used this year, but next year they will be gone.
The Kremlin is shifting the economy to the military state, to the detriment of the civilian sector. Combined with Western sanctions, staff starvation and dependence on prices for exports of key resources, it will be increasingly difficult for Moscow to keep inflation in check. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Larisa Zubenko, UATV News.